2021. We'll be discussing fear and take it from there. And my name is Dylan. I'll be your host tonight. And with me, as always, we have. That's your cue. Zay.
Oh, you can't hear me? I said, what's up? It's
Oh,
Isaiah.
oh no, I didn't hear you, bro.
Damn, hold on, wait, okay, we'll
Nah,
leave that,
dude,
we'll cut all that out, and then we'll just go from here, watch this. Cause I said it perfect, dog. Okay, I'll wait. Take a deep breath.
Oh, fuck, dude. I'm fucking. Alright. Okay.
What's up? It's Isaiah.
This is Quinn.
And I'm Nick.
Alrighty. And so, as I was saying, we're going to be discussing fear and what we're. My brain can't fucking focus right now. And Quinn, you had some interesting things to say about it, right?
We were on a topic earlier, and you had mentioned something about I don't know if you were referring to a personal memory or what, but people basically projecting if they're afraid of something or insecure, they start making fun of other people. You know, like they say about most bullies, usually just casting their insecurities on someone.
Yeah, or even just like hating a certain something that because you're scared of it, you hate it all of a sudden.
In your experiences, do you find that to be true or do you disagree?
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
any insights?
I used to hate the dark when I was fucking scared of the dark.
You hated the dark.
Yeah, dude, I didn't like to go in the dark, dude. I hated it, man, because I was scared of it. But that was like childhood stuff.
I was afraid, but I don't know if I'd ever say hated it. That's interesting.
What were you afraid of? What, the dark as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you guys? What are your guys's one of your fears?
Depends. It's like, I mean, there's different type of fears, but there's always the existential dread that everybody faces. I mean, that's a different type of fear, I think. It's just a problem. And then there's like fears, like irrational ones, like maybe, I mean, not really irrational, you can't even say that, like everybody has their own thing. Say, for instance, bears, like I'm terrified of bears, bro, honestly. Like, you see one jump up a tree in like 3 jumps, and just how fast they could get to you and just how powerful they are. That's just, it's terrifying. It's like, it's a little humbling at the same time, though, because like, you could be out in the forest and just watching this creature. It's just, you realize how powerless you are against it. It's just, you have to have respect for it and just keep your space, keep your distance, and stay the fuck out the way. Get away.
That's
It's like,
true.
it's terrifying, but it's interesting. And yeah, it's humbling at the same time. Like I said, it really like, it kind of like a trip on mushrooms, like the ego death. It's just, it makes you realize.
Yeah, see that. I've never really been scared of bears personally, but bobcats have had me a little tripped out.
Cats are freaky little fuckers.
Well, even like your normal household cat, they're pretty they can get a little vicious.
Miniature tigers, if you think about it, even like a bobcat's like, what, maybe 200-pound cat. I mean, they're all cats. They have that mentality just to hunt.
Yeah, true.
I think it's fair to say cats are the planet's most successful land predator. They've had a pretty crazy history all over every continent,
Scary.
just
That's,
eating everything.
And they love the chase. They love the chase.
honestly, I used to be afraid of dying. I used to, as a kid, even just thinking about it, I'd sit up every night scared to go to sleep because I didn't want to die. I tried to make all amends that I could, talking to God, and just hoping that I'd wake up the next day, just like in good graces. I was just so freaked out about it.
Yeah.
How old as a kid? Like adolescence or even younger?
It's maybe around 12, 14, 12. I didn't even think about like that animated movie, even Pinocchio too. I think about even when they talk about conscience on your shoulder, like I'd have the imagination of that inside of my head where we got. So I wouldn't feel guilty about stuff, but I'd just be so scared watching everybody else do this and that. I'm like hoping you're just doing everything right. I mean, that's why I said there's so many different types of fears too. Even like the fear of drowning or going off a cliff when you're driving through the canyon.
Yeah, I've had that a bit. Like driving like along the canyon, you're just like, that'd be a hell of a fall.
But you ever think about where it comes from too? Like,
What, just
not to the
fear
third point of
itself?
like where it started, like, yeah, like in for certain things, like remember how I was talking about where stuttering comes from, and they're pretty much saying that it comes from fear, that they're thinking that that's pretty much the cause for some people stuttering, is like even way back in the day, they would say that was the reason for it, and then they would do experiments on it too. I remember we were talking about the
Yeah, I remember
psychological
that.
experiments on humans. Yeah, they would scare these little children, so that way they would like force them to have a stutter out of fear. So that's how they're trying to link it to say that fear is the cause of stuttering.
Yeah. And it's pretty much like originated like instincts, cause. But then like, wouldn't you think living a life without fear would be pretty like golden? Like, cause you just do whatever and you wouldn't fear or give a damn about anything.
I'm sure there's cycles in life to where it gets to that point, and then people end up fucking up. Like
Yeah,
that's why I say it's like humbling. It's like when, like if you don't mess with a certain thing, it doesn't hurt you. It's like eventually you're gonna find a way for it to hurt you because you forget about it. I guess that's the dumbass perspective. Not even. I mean, you could even scratch that, but even when I was talking about a bear, how humbling it is. Like, imagine if people thought they were just cuddly, they're all right. It's like no. Eventually, you got to be scared of something to learn from it.
Sure. Yeah. Snakes, for a lot of cultures, are symbolic of wisdom. And I know I mean, just that it's a threat, I think, is why, a large part why it's an object of wisdom. Something terrifying is where you'll find your knowledge.
see that. Or like a traumatic experience kind of thing.
I mean, I guess maybe you don't even have to say traumatic, but I
Like
wonder if, like you
experience.
said, you didn't have fear, maybe you wouldn't have motivation as well. Like, I imagine, at least for myself, a lot of my satisfaction is from accomplishments, and an accomplishment meant tackling something that was originally fear inducing because it was like maybe a reflection of my capabilities. You know, my being was at stake if I couldn't accomplish it. But and if it wasn't terrifying, it would have been no worry. I wouldn't probably have the memory anymore because it wouldn't have affected me.
Yeah.
So I wonder if fear is necessary to move forward and enjoy life.
I could see it being something that you definitely do need, because I remember when when I used to do like a lot of like drugs and stuff, I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't be scared of anything. I didn't give a fuck about anything. I was just kind of drifting and just drifting, bro. And there was no purpose. There was just no reason for any of it. And then eventually it all caught up, and then blah 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 blah, and now I'm like, oh god, I'm fucking, I got a fear for doing that again because I don't want to go back down that. I got a fear for breaking the fucking law because I don't want to experience that again. So yeah, it seems like it's definitely something that is good to keep you in good hands for most part. Like if you just lived in fear and you were like scared to go outside because like what the fucking sky's gonna fall down on you, then yeah, then that's not really a great experience of fear. But yeah,
Yeah, because it's like you said, it's usually from a traumatic experience or just bad something
bad
bad happened when
experience.
you're
Yeah.
young and
Well, and then it's like what you said. It's like humbling too. Like if you didn't have this sense of fear, you just kind of did whatever and kept doing whatever. Then like, how was I trying to explain this? um, shit, I don't know how to break it down. What I was trying to say. Stupid moment alert. Okay. I forget. Just bleep all that out. I'll just cut that part out. I don't even pay attention to it.
even fear could damage your brain as well too. Even like long-term memories, like 'cause it damages the hippocampus. It's pretty much responsible for long-term memories.
Really?
But
So,
someone that's like exposed to chronic fear like regularly could leave them permanently like anxious, afraid, thinking, just paranoid, schizophrenic.
holy shit. Didn't think about it like that.
I think Alzheimer's too might have some correlation to living a very anxious life where you maybe make it a habit of discarding memories because they make you uncomfortable. So those that machinery kind of stops storing them as efficiently, and you start losing your mind.
And then you're kind of training your brain to get rid of those memories in a way. Oh. So, Nick, you're pretty quiet over there.
Yeah, doing a lot of reading right now.
He's like, I wasn't prepared for this shit, guys. I wasn't prepared.
I wouldn't say I wasn't prepared. I mean, I got over a fear of spiders by buying spiders.
You let him walk on you?
I grab them and hold them and do down.
Nah, I couldn't do that, dude.
Well, you just gotta do it, and then you'll
Nah,
break
bro.
the fear.
I watched a video on YouTube not too long ago before I started getting my tarantulas and shit. And it was an informational video, and this dude was saying that the only time a tarantula or spider is going to actually like actively seek you out and bite you is if you apply pressure to the top of them. And ever since then, I just whatever, grab them, hold them.
I see. I always think of like Black Widow, and I'm just like, nah.
I own a couple of those.
Fucking Death Wish. He
Eh,
has
not
he
really.
has mastered the art of fear.
That's the thing about it though, even having things like that, it makes you more responsible throughout everything.
Yeah.
Like having a responsibility. But
And
even like
what?
you said though, you had spiders just to get rid of your fear of spiders. It's like
And
just
that's
facing
become
your
an
fear.
addiction. Don't do it. It's quite the addiction. It's like tattoos. Once you get one, you can't. You have to get more.
I could see that being like jumping out of a plane.
That adrenaline high.
Yeah, well, like say you're really scared of it and you do it and you conquer it, and then you're like, so we're going again? Like, I could see that.
As weird as it sounds, it's how I feel when I go into public places. I fucking hate doing that shit. Going to the grocery store or out to eat somewhere, I can't fucking stand it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel you on that one. Just I don't know, just for me, just even I can't go alone. Like if I'm by myself, I freak out. But if I'm with
Yeah,
somebody, like I'm just straight. All right, cool, whatever.
it's weird. I
Hmm.
hate that feeling. But like once you like go and do it, I want to go do it again so I can overcome it.
Yeah, you feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like its own drug in a way. Just that
Really.
conquering.
I mean, I think it literally is. That's what will release the endorphins, which, like, everyone knows dopamine. It's kind of like the main homie there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juices you up when you accomplish something that was otherwise kind of paralyzing the system with fear.
I
Even any
see.
task too.
Which I think might be a hazard, because if it's like a expedient task, maybe some Candy Crush, it's kind of abusing those juices. They might not be as primed to motivate you to take on some larger responsibility.
Well, wouldn't you think after like so much of doing, like say the Candy Crush, wouldn't you think like after beating it so much that you wouldn't get that dopamine? Because you beat it and you just like, I've beaten this, it's the same thing. Wouldn't you think like after a while, like your brain would just be like I'm over it. Something
Yeah, the
else.
receptors end up burning out. Like your brain will always produce the dopamine, but the receptors stop picking up on it.
Hmm. So I could see like, so like say the first time you drink and you have a great time and it's fun and you're like whoa, and then I could see that like say like you go to a party every weekends, and like I could see eventually where you're just like this is fucking just like you're not getting the dopamine anymore because it's just like a repetitive thing and you're just over it. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
Hmm. So in a way, it's kind of like to keep getting the dopamine, conquering like your fears, but also doing new things, which can also be a fear. Just technically, like say like you never jumped out of a plane, but then you do it, and then you get that dopamine, and then you just keep doing new and new things.
that's my perspective on it.
Holy shit, bro! I never thought about it like that. Honestly, like talk about like getting your ass out of the comfort zone with getting that kind of like mindset of like you wouldn't like if you like kept producing dopamine at that kind of level, you wouldn't have to like rely on certain things or other things. Sorry, I'm like I just like my brain just kind of was like damn son.
And I think you're kind of saying a wide range of activities.
Yeah, like
I think you could also look at like a narrow, like an artist. Uh, you can stagnate. Any artist can stagnate at any time if they're not pushing the boundaries. And if let's say you play one instrument or you just paint or something, it's quite limited. But within there, it's kind of unlimited possibility. So you break new grounds, kick dopamine, but you have to be pushing yourself to improve. I think that's also like what you might say about a career. It's just narrowing your focus on something,
yeah.
but you have to still be learning something new all the time.
Yeah, you couldn't just like go in like for like the first month and go hard and then just stop after that. So it seems like it'd be like or kind of like a great thing to do is just get high off of dopamine. Oh shit. Fucking mic.
It's just the broad spectrum of fear, though. It's just like it's crazy how there's so many different types. Even like I said, irrational fears, or maybe they say like the Earth is gonna like crack in half, like even things like that,
Yeah.
or like things. What's that fear? That's what people are scared of. Things with holes in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude.
Hypophobia, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, bro. I don't fuck with that. I don't know why. It's just so trippy to look at. I guess I could just stare at it, get it over with,
I love
conquer it.
that shit.
And trypophobia is things like that. Like really terrify a lot of people.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say it's like terrifying me, but it sure makes me uncomfortable.
But even to that degree, though, like I said, where it's just causing brain damage, or people like really spaz out over even just an image of anything.
Hmm.
That's an odd thing CNN would post. We are born with only two innate fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. I have neither of them.
The fear of falling and the fear of near sounds.
Loud sounds.
Yeah, they got it all. They need to broaden their options there, I think.
It's an article posted in 2015 by CNN titled "The Science of Fear."
Loud sounds
Yeah,
and falling.
yeah. According to CNN,
Oh god, dude. Cringy.
What would be the fears that are built into us, like automatically? Like loud noises would be one. I think the fear of being small, something bigger than us.
you good?
Pepper. Okay, I'm back.
He's still recording.
Yeah, I'm still recording. Why?
All right.
Yeah, no, my.
Fucking IT guy, dude.
No,
What's
no,
up?
dude. My dog came in, bro.
Okay, for that.
And then I just closed my door.
I guess a common fear would be the fear of an open ocean, like just the deep sea.
If I'm swimming in that shit, I'll. Yeah, but if I'm on a boat, that'd be pretty cool, I think. But then it almost seems like you don't want to fear. You know what I mean?
It,
Like it's more healthy not to. So, say like people like being afraid of like blah blah blah, the government's doing this or this country's doing this, and like how like the news puts so much kind of like fear into it, but it's kind of just how you look at it as well, if that makes any sense.
Uh, Maya is like a Eastern perspective that the reality's what you make it, and a fundamental part of that is just projecting a fear somewhere in there. So Maya is like a matrix you could think of, very much the same thing, just illusionary reality that you're making for yourself. And I think it's pretty much true. I mean, we had perspectives as kids, and we weed things out, add things, change things. You kind of define how you want to see the world, more or less.
Yeah, I could see that, or even like you see like yourself as well. Huh. there's been a lot of times where it's like um like I've thought of myself in like a certain way, and sure enough, it was like became reality, and like the things around me were becoming that reality and stuff. Dude, it's almost like a dream. Like I feel like life is like a dream.
Well, check this. Like within the field of psychology, there's five primal fears: extinction, mutilation, loss of autonomy, separation, and the loss of self-identity.
Those are some interesting ones.
That's not what you might like expect to hear.
I guess mutilation's pretty bonkers.
I think I'd like to experience them all in some fashion.
Who's a sick fuck? He's a sick fuck.
Well, these concepts of at least loss of control or autonomy and loss of identity are at least as old as shamanism, and shamanism's pretty old,
Yeah. And what, like
you know?
identity? You don't mean like your ID card. You just mean like who you are as a person.
Why? Because it's a primal fear.
Huh. But then, huh? That's not a way that, like me personally, I would want to be scared of something because I feel like like you got like a flower, they grow and they become something better. Like if you just wanted to stay the same, you could never grow and become something else, or like become something better. Like obviously, like you wouldn't be who you are like 10, 20 years from now. If unless you did think like that, then I'm sure you could. Hmm. Oh, pepper. You're like salt and pepper.
You have a fear of flying, don't you?
Flying?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I
Is
didn't
it
that.
flying or heights?
um, heights.
You don't like climbing high things?
Nah, dude. When I was a kid, I used to climb on everything, and I remember I was on this porch, and I was swinging on the porch, and the whole thing broke and fell, and I went fucking, I went going down, bro. And I remember I got like a big gash on, I think it was my arm. I think it was like from like a nail. Yeah, but that whole railing came off, dude. Cause like the railing, bro, that's safety, dude. That's you're good, man. But nah, man, that railing said not today, sucker.
Now you're terrified of rails to this day.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like when I first went into a plane, like I would look through the window. I'd always want the window seat because I like looking down. But if there's a railing, bro, like the Gorge Bridge, nah, bro, you ain't fucking catching me out. You ain't catching me hanging on no railing, dude. Hell no.
You start to think about the structure and like who built it,
Yeah.
and like even like me being in tall buildings, I think that like even leaning towards the edge is gonna throw off the weight of the whole building, like even to the littlest minute thing.
Is that how you think? Like you're in the building, you're like, I don't want to go too close to that corner.
Yeah, or even in elevators, I don't I trust good engineering, but even at that, like I'm thinking, is there really somebody keeping up with this shit? Like, cause people slack in like a lot of the whole world. Like everybody does it, even myself. Like people
Yeah.
slack with certain shit. And it's like, who can you make sure for certain like people are maintaining this and that? Like even carnival rides and like I'm sure people are, but it's just you never know. But you can't live in constant fear either, though. It's like,
Yeah. But then it's always good to kind of just have an idea. Well, I guess you could think about it like, if it happens, it happens. And then if it
Yeah, you just
happens,
get sick of it. You just say fuck it.
yeah, and then if it happens, it is what it is. Yeah, well, there was people talking to people. I used to hate it. I used to not like it. Like I couldn't even answer a phone call or talk to anybody. But yeah, shit. But I got over that, and ever since I got over that, I'm like, bro, I'll start talking to some random person like on the street or just whatever. Because now I just love it.
If somebody comes up to me and asks me, I'll answer your question, but I sound like a full fledged fucking retard. I had some dude come up to me the other day and ask me if I had a cigarette. Like, check my pockets even though I don't smoke. Yeah, nope.
My God, dude, this is great. That makes me think. There's this one guy I started to talk to, bro, and he looked at me like he didn't know what to do or say. Like you could just see he wanted to like dip out.
How I feel about certain situations. Like last year, we had a Christmas party at work. I uh, I got my little rat ass out of there by saying I had some cousins coming up. You didn't have any cousins up.
You're like, nope, not today,
I don't
people.
go like I hate big crowds. I hate being a part of a big crowd. I just I can't stand it. I'd rather come home, take my shower, and fucking chill out.
So now I'm curious: is hate and fear like the same thing? Like, well, technically they're not the same thing, but say, does fear fuel hate more, and does hate fuel fear more? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I kind of think that hate eventually forms. What do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? The opposite of fear. What an idiot. What the fuck is the opposite of fear?
Um,
Uh,
joy? No.
courage?
Courage, bravery.
There's, there you go. Exactly. Bravery. I think eventually fear ends up building bravery because you end up getting like sick of being scared or something. Like eventually you start questioning, maybe should I do this?
Yeah, let's see that. Well, then, don't you think it could work like two ways? Because like some people could also be like, like they wouldn't want to, you know? Like they wouldn't want to conquer the fear.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what, I mean, some psychologists would say because even like fear is pretty much what happens when you can't do nothing at all.
Yeah.
And hate's just like a reaction we get when we're threatened.
Pepper, what are you doing? Looking for food.
Something I found myself thinking on lately is love and fear. I've heard a couple times of people referring to those two things as like the fundamentals of the universe. So I always have it in the back of my mind and kind of just see what it can amount to for me. And it's at least something to think about, as if everything could be categorized into either love or fear. All your decisions.
See that. But then
There's a lot of. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like they could also um coexist like say you love this, but then you also at the same time can fear it.
No, you son of a bitch. You fucking. Uh, what do you. influencing abusive relationships and shit.
No, but I'm saying like people
I'm
can.
kidding.
Yeah, dude. Now I feel attacked, bro. Thanks, dude. That's my whole ex relationship. Bingo. But yeah, like I could see that. I could see that. But then that's not at all how you want to think about it.
I think that probably is the paradox is the real reality more than I think we're dualists, you know. We like to see the world in a yin yang way. It's good
Yeah.
or bad or right or wrong or whatever phrasing you're using, you're kind of splitting something in two. But the truth is it's always both aspects, and I think fear is one end and curiosity or something, maybe love. Maybe you could just think of it as like positive and negative magnets. It always has a push and pull.
Oh, wait, so what do you mean by push and pull?
You fear something and love it at the same time. If it's a relationship, you know, you might want to destroy them in some sense. I imagine the deepest intimacies, the people you've been closest with, might be the people you've had the darkest thoughts about, most violent or whatever. Just because you're in for that emotional ride, you're gonna have to go to both extremes.
Damn.
I don't know. I kind of thought about strangling motherfuckers. I almost hit my car more than.
I could be
No, I'm
wrong.
kidding. Yeah, we. This is the. I see both of you saying on like the opposite ends of the spectrum because like it can coexist and it can't because like love is the opposite of it. It brings positive emotions like joy and peace, and fear is the opposite. It brings anger, guilt, sadness. But I mean, you can see it in a yin yang way, but they kind of can't coexist at the same time because fear, like love's tainted by fear because once it's tainted, it's not love.
Damn.
That's tough. That reminds me of what's his name? Uh,
Bro, what are you
anyways,
doing?
some
Oh, Floyd?
scribe of the Catholic Church who's pretty influential even beyond religious people as a philosopher, you could say. Augustine, Saint Augustine, uh, wrestling with the concept of good and evil and sin, trying to, you know, what are these things we're talking about? And that ends up being maybe one of the deepest complications of Catholicism, Christianity, the separation of these two things. If it's sin, it's not God because it's violation by definition. But then what is it, and what is a person if they carry both?
It's like a double-edged sword in a way. Oh. What, Pepper? You're
But just the
distracted.
psychology behind it too. Like you find an opinion on it, and someone's always gonna find the opposite. Like even with that, like they'll say fear is stronger than love, or you'll find somebody that'll say the opposite.
Guess it's all just like your own opinion kind of thing, like your own belief. Well, and then it's like your own reality, like what Quinn was saying, too. Like you create your own reality.
Yeah, like it's all connected to the primal fears, like even with love, like separation.
Separation anxiety.
I
Or
mean,
if you
that's
just want to
really
be a
what it
hermit.
is.
What if you just don't care about anything? You just want to be a hermit out in the butt fuck nowhere up in the mountains somewhere.
I mean, you don't have to fear. It's not like a It's not like something you can't overcome. Like eventually, like I said, there's gonna be a point where nobody fears anything for a while,
That's true.
and then it ends up going back.
Hold on, I'm gonna let my dog out.
How he just leaves the video. We just stay quiet.
I thought he cut it off. That's why I was like,
Alright, I'm back. What'd I miss?
Nothing.
Oh, no? Nothing? It's some heavy shit we're talking about. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's kind of like, dude, I don't even know, honestly.
even just like even this connected to social fears.
What do you mean, like socializing with people and all that? Or just
Yeah,
like,
whether it be public speaking, talking to someone, interaction.
yeah.
And I suffer from that. I'm sure most people do. You got people who are social butterflies who also suffer from a type of fear in a social setting. Like, take content creators, for instance, like YouTubers and Twitch streamers. If they go out and their image is slandered, that's their fear, is their image getting slandered somehow.
But I'm sure at one point they were normal. Like it ends up being that way after a while. Like even you could see the transition from
Yeah.
when somebody first starts to where they are now. It's like you can see when they're picking up that like those tips that people give them to be more professional in their whatever the fuck they do, and they end up building like this personality like around what people want and just trying to please. Well, not really trying to please people, just like that person that uh yeah, just like the personality that people want to hear.
I could see that though. Like starting off, and like you don't really think about it like that. And then... That'd be a shitty way to like. I don't know. Fuck that.
Live your social life.
Just live life. Like, oh, I can't be this way
Your
because of
personal life
this.
would be affected by it,
But
though.
then it seems like nowadays, like any little thing you do, everybody's like, meh, 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 meh.
But like you said, it's like fear just humbles us. It's like it's stupid as fuck. It's always gonna be there. Like and nobody likes it.
Yeah, but it's
Like
there.
even like the fear of like fucking the Yellowstone going off and killing the whole earth, or the fault
I've
line
always
in
thought about
California.
that. Like, sorry, go on.
No, that's it. Like just even that, like just those little things. I mean, they're not little. Like just even those two events happening could end a lot. Like even just living in the fear of that or asteroid coming out of nowhere. Like I said, like you could live in constant fear about this, but then eventually it's like what's the point? Like you could just say whatever and live comfortably.
Yeah, because it would kind of suck to just think about like say think about Yellowstone all the time. Like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have no control over it.
I mean, it sucks thinking about everything like this consistently. I mean, that's why we have like fear. I mean, hobbies like and just things to forget about things like that. Like plays the balance.
Yeah,
I mean, like thinking about all the dumb shit in the world, like even going to go smoke joint, like you instantly forget about everything, and like it just makes everything fine, and like you have that balance, like you're not constantly in fear. And not that so you have to be like consistently like doped up with whatever you do, like releasing dopamine, but just like just that balance.
kind of like you need fear in a way though,
Yeah, you need everything. You need chaos for peace to exist. You can't just exist. Like
because it can't just be peace. Like, I wouldn't really even understand what the hell chaos is if it was just only peaceful and that's all it was. I think it'd be boring.
Exactly. If you didn't understand chaos, you would understand peace. It'd just be.
Or just be. Like, straight up, it would just be.
You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't even have that fucking thought. Like, even like if you say the whole world's fucked up, and I mean, you could consistently think about stuff like that, but at the same time, you could consistently think about everything that's good.
Yeah. Think about it. Like, I feel like when we have these podcast talks, they kind of make me like just think, man. Like, I don't know if it is for you guys, but
I mean, yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. Like, even eventually, when you talk to somebody, you expect it to be fruitful for both of you to benefit and get something out of it, not just to be uh, sounding like a broken record or talking about it, same things in a different way, or just consistently going on about things. I mean, it just depends on the level that you're comfortable talking to, because like some people are able to express what they have on their mind, just plain and simple, and there's some people that like have trouble like they could get to the point eventually. It just involves a lot of like repetitive explaining.
yeah.
It's definitely a practice.
To be charismatic is even to be bold, it's just it's amazing, but to the people who don't have it,
And it's just kind of the same shit.
but even failing that too, it's like you want to be the charismatic person, like you're scared of messing up in front of people, or like be amazing out of a million.
Yeah, like if you don't like really no, like when you start like a new job kind of thing, you're like, fuck, I don't want to be that guy. And
But yeah,
as
it
it
just it
happens,
depends on what drives you. Like even carrying the fear, like would it be possible to get medication to cure fear? Not to the point where you're like sedated and you can't function. Like even with schizophrenic people, like the way they think they see things, and they take medication for it. I mean, what are they taking exactly? Like you think about the cures for like fear.
yeah. And like, you wouldn't want to like numb out those fears. And if you just numb it out, you're just meh. You're just there. You're just numb, just coasting along. I would rather be an emotional wreck instead of a fucking person who doesn't feel anything. You know, I'd rather be sad or go through all this shit instead of just not. You know, like I'm not saying I'd rather lose a fucking finger and know what that feels like. I'm not saying that at all. Fuck that. But like I would rather like when people say like they take like certain like drugs like like depression medicine and all that. I couldn't do that. I would rather just feel what I'm feeling at that moment, at that stage of my life, and then get over it. 'Cause I feel like it's all mental too. Like the more that you keep yourself thinking a certain way, then yeah, it's gonna stay that way. But then the whole reason why we're kind of here, I feel like, is to learn, grow. Yeah,
Expand consciousness
yeah,
into the unknown. If there's not an unknown, which is the things we fear, then what's it, It kind of just being here and being aware that we're here implies that there's stuff to discover. And I guess by nature of not being known, it seems to be scary. At least for myself. Generally, the more familiar it is, the less intimidating. Like I'm afraid of snakes, but that's more of a automatic bodily response fear. That's kind of looking out for me. It's not something I dwell on.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just becomes common sense.
Right.
Oh shit. I like that.
The damage it causes, though, just it's powerful. Just yeah, like I said, just the shit that it could do. Even weaponizing fear.
Yeah,
I think that's all politics is.
I think that's like the countries too. All of it. Like,
I mean, not only the nuclear warheads too, but we still have fears of deeper relations with other countries, or I mean, there's even fear within organizations. There's fear of each other. There's
You
sorry,
said
so
it.
many organizations. But my bad, bad.
No worries, man. You had said earlier your conscience as a kid. The philosopher Nietzsche discussed the conscience, and he counted it to being something weaponized by institution systems. In his eyes, it was mainly the Christian church. And so his point was saying that they give you a conscience, which is this worry that I'm doing wrong in life. Therefore, you make yourself afraid. So they're kind of hands off. You're controlling your own self for the things that they desire. So that's just something that I remembered. Conscience being a fear, and the idea that an external entity could maybe grab your own mind with a better grip than you have yourself and use it for their interest.
You know what? Here,
but then
honestly,
even,
I have a point.
but then that could even be like a person, like, right?
I suppose.
Like, say, like that could even be like, yeah, say like North Korea example. They don't know anything, but one dude knows more, and he uses that to his advantage, right?
Fear of the unknown.
Oh, oh shit!
Be couldn't fear be tied into insanity, driving yourself insane over fear.
I could see that, like, if you lingered, fucking think about it, like a certain thing, like Chinese are gonna attack. Today's the day the Chinese are coming. Week later, nah, today's the day the Chinese come, and then that's just all you hear them say. I can see that shit.
What about irrational fears? Like the I was reading one that started with the A. I forgot, but it was talking about the fear of a duck watching you.
Of a what? Duck?
Up, yeah,
Oh,
somewhere there's a duck consistently watching you.
Guess that's a little uncomfortable.
I mean, I was just like trying to say like even documenting all these fears to a point or like that. Like you could just say they're paranoid about being watched, not like coming up with a single word just because it's a duck. Like the next day they could be saying like, "Oh, I think it's a fucking fish," and then they come aboard with that specifically for a duck and a fish. But in reality, it's just paranoia that you're being watched, regardless of whether it's by an animal or a camera or a human or fucking aliens.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Hmm.
I would maybe it's not even appropriate to stop at watch. You know, I think we're such strange creatures. It's something that underlines being watched. What does that mean? Why is that scary?
I think it all ties into just fear of not knowing anything. Like, what is that?
Well, it's like death. Like none of us really understand that. So well, should we wrap it up, boys?
I
I think we,
suppose.
yeah, I
One
think
thing
we did
crossed
good
my
for
mind
this week.
though,
So
if I
What
might
was
just
that?
get it out.
yeah, do it.
Thanos, the Avengers, killed half the people or half the universe. Uh, and then Freud, have you guys heard of like libido, life energy,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
sexual energy? I think it's originally a Greek term, but he coined it for his theory. But I didn't know for a long time that he had an opposite, which was thanatos, which is the death instinct, because he thought that from birth we have an instinct that is a drive for death, as if we want to die. And I think that's probably what they based the name Thanos off of, these terms.
Good for Obi.
Holy shit! I'm not gonna lie. Like what was it? Like his whole like glove and shit kind of tripped me out at times. Like time and I don't know. Like the Avengers kind of tripped me out with some of its things.
The equilibrium of life in the solar system was like the main point of the newest film. Well, for Thanos' idea of why he killed everybody.
Yeah.
Well, like Quinn was saying though, like Thanatos is something related to Hades, because Hades is supposed to be death, but some people think it's death personified. But actually, Thanatos is it's like the son of Nyx, and Erebus is the actual personification of death.
Oh.
But it's even saying that Thanatos and Hades were one and the same deity, pretty much.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's how that ties into it, though. Is the I had a brother of Hypnos, the god of sleep, so eternal slumber. And so that's this week's episode.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Some of the things we were talking about earlier kind of just like got me just
Hear
like.
me the fuck off.
Well, it's just like I don't know. It has me just like I think I had my own revelations there, guys, and I'm just like, fuck. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
these
That
are
that
always
is.
nice.
Yeah, they are.
Let's
Alrighty.
end it before we take notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So this is episode 5 of Outer World podcast, and thank you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.